I'm currently working at a small town repair shop. I started working when I was 15, and it's already been 10 years. After graduating from middle school, my family didn't have any money, so I couldn't go to high school like my friends. Honestly, that made me feel a bit lonely. My school life until middle school was really fun, and not being able to follow the same path as my friends made me uneasy for sure. But I've lived positively because I had a sickly but kind mom and younger siblings who looked up to me. Plus, there were the cheerful old guys at the factory. I was blessed with these people, and that's how I've overcome various difficulties. But maybe because of my lifestyle, I had this mindset that I shouldn't chase after those who leave. When my father left home when I was little, or the distance between friends talking about high school, I thought chasing them was pointless. So I've been thinking about truly cherishing those close to me. But the person who changed my mind was her, Chloe. My girlfriend, Chloe, for the past 3 years. Her family is well off. She graduated from college and she's working in a major company in the city. To put it bluntly, we're totally different financially, but she treats me equally, and the time with her is always fun. I can't imagine a future without her. That's why I've come to think I want to marry her and become a family. I may not become rich, but I want to keep her smiling more than anything else. So I started preparing to propose. Fancy restaurants, bouquets of roses, surprises in Disneyland. There are all kinds of methods online. Since a proposal is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, I thought about something that would make her happy. Then I came up with proposing in a high-end hotel room. The two of us like to take photos, and we've gone to various places to take pictures together. Usually, we stay in cheap hotels, but I secretly reserved a fancy hotel for this special day. I thought she'd be pleased because the night view from the terrace was reputed to be beautiful. So, a few months ago, I saved up $1,000 and made a reservation for that hotel. And, of course, I prepared an engagement ring too. Even though I didn't have much money, I thought a ring was absolutely necessary. I wanted to convey my feelings to her, that I want to marry and live together, so I took my time picking the ring. Proposing is a first for me, so I was nervous about many things, but I somehow finished the preparations for the day. And then, the day of the proposal. That day, we went to the sea, a place we'd wanted to visit for a while, and spent the time taking pictures. We headed to the luxury hotel we had reserved, and my girlfriend Chloe, sure enough, was stunned. We always kid around with each other, so at first, Chloe thought it was a joke, but when I told her it was real, she was really surprised. First off, the initial surprise was a success. Feeling relieved inside, I had Chloe wait sitting on the lobby sofa, and I headed to the front desk. I thought the front desk staff were very elegant, fitting for a high-end hotel. Since this was my first time staying at such a hotel, I was a little nervous when I approached the hotel staff. "I have a reservation for a night under the name Thomas," I said. As I looked at the staff's face, I felt like I had seen them somewhere before. But I thought it was just my imagination, and without paying much attention, I waited for the staff to respond.
May I have your first name, please?
"Leonard Thomas," I said. It was just a simple conversation, but I felt a little uneasy in my heart. I didn't know why, but I had a feeling that I had experienced this unpleasant sensation somewhere before. I wondered why I was recalling such a thing at this moment. I tried to suppress the sudden resurgence of unpleasant memories in my mind. Then,
There's no reservation under that name.
I heard a soft voice say. Suddenly, I realized that this hotel staff member was a classmate of mine from middle school. I looked up at his face and saw that same condescending expression I had often seen in the past. "What do you mean?" "But I definitely made a reservation," I said, desperately trying to keep my voice from trembling. I even showed him the confirmation email, but
I can't confirm the reservation here. Maybe it was canceled.
I had no memory of canceling, and I had received no such notification. I knew for sure that I had been set up. I hadn't even considered that this was the hotel where Liam was working. Liam and I were in the same middle school and played on the same soccer team. I was poor and not very bright, but I was good at sports and loved them. So I was the only one in my grade who got to play in matches with the older students, and I think I was really trying hard back then. But Liam probably didn't like that. It started with him hiding my stuff, spreading lies about me to the other team members, and ostracizing me. I had friends outside of the club, and as long as I could play soccer in practice, that was enough. So I tried not to care, but it was still painful, being ridiculed as the pool kid every day and having my place taken away. More than 10 years have passed, and my memories have faded, but to meet him on such an important day, in such a place. But my situation doesn't matter to Liam. He would probably find it amusing to mess with me. So I thought it would be best not to show my feelings and to ignore him. I may have accidentally canceled it. So please, I'll request again. I'd like a vacant room, I said, trying to calm myself down as much as possible.
Unfortunately, all the rooms are booked.
I see. I thought it was over. This guy was determined not to let me stay at this hotel. Chloe was waiting, and it might be quicker to look for another hotel rather than cause trouble here. It was a hotel with a wonderful view that Chloe would surely enjoy, so it was a huge disappointment. But I decided to give up and turn my back to the front desk. Then Liam said,
You, a poor person like you, have no business staying here. Know your place.
He said it quietly enough not to be overheard, but it reached my ears loud and clear. You, I started to say, losing my patience, but
You just end up embarrassing yourself and getting dumped by your girl.
Liam's words brought me back to my senses. Chloe is waiting, so let's get back quickly. I'll forget about Liam. When I returned to the sofa, Chloe noticed and said,
Is something wrong?
I'm fine. It had taken longer than usual, and maybe my expression was a bit downcast, but I can't worry her in a place like this. I did my best to smile and said, I thought I had made a reservation, but it turns out I didn't. We'll have to look for another place. I'm really sorry. I apologized, making sure to act cheerful so as not to worry her.
Really? Is that so? It's okay. I'll help look too.
Chloe was understandably surprised, but she doesn't get angry or flustered at times like these. She's the kind of woman who enjoys herself, no matter the situation. That being said, the fact that I was causing her inconvenience was undeniable. I wanted to find a place to stay as soon as possible, so I called various nearby accommodations. But since it was a long weekend, I was turned down everywhere as they were all fully booked. The only place that had an opening was a small bed and breakfast, quite a way up in the mountains, that Chloe found for us. Our plan for a luxury hotel had fallen apart, but sleeping outdoors wasn't an option. So Chloe and I decided to head to the bed and breakfast. When we arrived at the bed and breakfast, the building was older than I expected, but when we entered, I realized it was a lovely place, neatly cleaned.
We've been waiting for you.
A kind old lady greeted us, making me feel warm and cozy. I was very relieved, maybe also because of the awful treatment by Liam at the previous hotel. I'm Thomas, who called earlier. Sorry for the sudden intrusion, I said. And
You're always welcome here.
the old lady replied, and she immediately showed us to our room. The room looked like a special suite, very spacious and wonderful. Are you sure such a large room is all right for us on such short notice? I asked, to which
Of course, dear.
the old lady replied with a smile. Although different from a luxury hotel, the charming cottage in the mountains and the view from there were truly amazing. We're usually so busy in the city, so this nature is so healing, isn't it? Chloe seemed to feel the same way. I thought we were in trouble, but I was glad we ended up in the lovely cottage. That's what I was thinking when something outside the room was noisy, so I went to see what was going on. Then, it seemed like there was a water leak from the ceiling of the next room, and the old lady and the staff were quickly working to provide emergency repairs. Excuse me, do you need some help? From what I could see, the staff were all women, and since I'm tall, I thought I could easily help with the temporary fix. Plus, I'm used to this kind of work.
But we can't ask a guest to do this.
The staff lady hesitated, but I insisted. It's the least I can do since we showed up unannounced, I said as I took the bucket from her.
Well then, I'll take you up on your offer.
She accepted. They kept it very clean, but it's an old building after all, so these things can happen, I thought to myself as I worked on the repairs. Next to me,
Don't overdo it, Grandma. Have a seat.
Chloe was saying. Her talking like this to an old lady she just met was very typical of her friendly personality. It made me smile. After the emergency repairs were done, we had dinner in our room. It was full of mountain delicacies and truly delicious. If we had stayed at the hotel we'd booked, we'd probably be dining in a fancy restaurant now. But by this time, I was beginning to sense something. Perhaps Chloe and I are more suited to this homey atmosphere. While we might aspire to a more luxurious ambience, this warm, inviting feeling is what makes us comfortable and is the kind of family life I want to build. With that thought, I began to feel that proposing in this cottage was the right choice. During the meal, the old lady kept bringing us dishes, far too much for the two of us to finish.
Grandma, we can't eat anymore.
Chloe said, and the old lady laughed.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear.
She said,
I'll prepare some containers, so take what you can't finish with you.
those words made us feel even warmer. After dinner, as I was gazing out the window at the view from our room, I was finally able to say these words. Chloe, I love the warmth of being with you. I want to keep walking together like this forever. Will you marry me? It was precisely because it wasn't a fancy hotel, but this place, that I could say that, my true feelings. If I proposed at a hotel, I might have been too nervous and unable to etch this precious moment into my heart.
I feel the same way. I accept.
Chloe said, smiling, and took the ring. This is kind of embarrassing, isn't it? I said, when suddenly the door opened, startling us. Looking towards the door, we saw a woman saying,
Congratulations on your engagement.
a female staff member said this, and the old lady was sitting there, applauding.
Grandma, you were listening.
Chloe asked in surprise, to which an unbelievable response came.
I got a little curious. Thomas, please take good care of my granddaughter.
She said, bowing deeply. Wait, granddaughter. I couldn't comprehend the situation and had Chloe explain it to me. It turned out that this was Chloe's mother's childhood home, and the old lady was actually Chloe's grandmother.
I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I lost the timing. This is a guest house filled with memories from when I used to visit as a child. That's why I was so glad you liked it, Leonard.
I never expected it, and it was an absolute shock, but the next day, there was an even more surprising turn of events awaiting us. When we were about to check out of the guest house, there, to our surprise, was Liam, the one who had refused our stay the day before. Next to him was an unfamiliar, well-built man. Liam, noticing us, came over. His demeanor completely changed from his condescending attitude the day before, bowing his head.
I apologize for yesterday.
Then the man following Liam tapped him on the head.
What do you mean by sorry? You should say, I sincerely apologize to our guests.
I sincerely apologize.
Liam corrected. As I stood there in astonishment, the man bowed deeply, and in a gentle, calm voice that didn't match his earlier anger, he said,
Mr. Leonard Thomas, on this occasion, our hotel employee committed an inexcusable rudeness. I sincerely apologize. I am Francesco, the manager. While an apology may not suffice for this matter, as a token of our regret, we have arranged for you to use our hotel suite room for 2 nights, free of charge. Whenever it is convenient for you, please call the number on this business card to make arrangements.
Really? Are you sure?
Of course, please use it with your wife.
Chloe and I looked at each other, completely bewildered by what had just happened, but decided to ask about what was puzzling us. Can I ask something?
Sure, anything at all.
How did you know we were here? And why did you call for my wife?
If you'll excuse me, I made the phone call.
A voice came from behind, and when we turned around, there was Grandma standing there.
Chloe suddenly wanted to stay over, so I thought something might have happened. When I heard that the hotel turned you away,